Now here at Trinity, before we get into the sermon part of our service, for those of you that are guests, once again, welcome, we have what's called a Worldview segment. And what's the reason or the purpose behind a Worldview segment? I believe today, more than ever, Christians need to be informed about what's happening in the world. Why? You need to be informed so you can know how to pray, so that through that prayer, you're empowered to act. You're empowered to do something. Ephesians 5:11, Paul said, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. So each week, we take a step back from the distorted news stories, the social trends, so that we could see more clearly through the lens of God's Word what is happening in our world. It's kind of like putting on some spiritual corrective lenses, which, allows you to see everything more clearly through the lens of God's Word. So we cover political issues, social trends, cultural shifts, things that deal with what's happening in everyday life for the purpose of advancing a biblical worldview and the kingdom principles in a chaotic world. And speaking of a chaotic world, our world's a little chaotic right now economically with the tariff issue. So let's look at the truth behind the headlines concerning tariffs. First of all, what is a tariff? Well, a tariff is basically it's a simple tax on imports. So if we import steel from some other country, then there is a tariff or a tax on that steel, which means at the end of the day, we're going to be paying more for that steel. So the goal is free trade, but most countries are placing tariffs on our goods coming in, or they're placing a tax on those goods coming out to our country. So most people aren't playing fairly. So sometimes you have to reset the table. So consider the global economy like an ocean. In that ocean, there are 195 vessels. So we have 195 nations in our world. And most of those vessels representing those nations are small fishing boats. America is a super tanker in that global ocean economy. So as America goes, so goes the rest of the world. Now, China is another large vessel. India, Japan, Korea, large economic powerhouses, but we are the strongest, and really we hold all of the cards. So when it comes to the tariffs, it is being implemented to try to level the playing field so that everybody can compete. Let your product, if you have the best product, let it speak for itself. Don't ban other products from coming in by placing a tariff. So how does this work in the real world? So let's say you have your favorite barber, right? Ladies, you have your favorite salon or hairstylist. And so I go to my barber and let's say he charged me $25 for my haircut. Now, why do I go to Joey? Well, because he's local, because he's from this community, because he's a Christian, he raises his family here, and there's relationship, right? Plus, he gives a really good haircut. Don't base my hairstyle today on how he cuts it. It's not his fault. Now, let's say that directly across the street, a haircut chain came in to town, and it had a brand new, beautiful building. It had TVs everywhere, sports games that are going on, a free espresso. They gave out free snacks, and they gave all these extras, and they were only charging $10 for a haircut. Why wouldn't I go there? Because you get what you pay for. A $10 haircut is what you're gonna get. No, I wouldn't go there because I've built a relationship with my barber and I want to invest in my local community. Now you might ask, well, why is that new barber chain able to charge $10? Here's why. Because they are funded by another country outside of America. They actually bought that property and they came into this community, and that barber shop is being subsidized by their country. What you and I don't know is that they're being subsidized, which no haircut is $10, right? It's going to eventually cost more. And what they do is they lower the price, and it's not fair competition because they're being subsidized until they drive out all the local businesses, and now they're the only business, and guess what they do next? They raise their prices to about $50 a haircut, and now you are stuck. So thank God, we have a president, a CEO of American business. And at the end of the day, he is negotiating, and really, we hold the cards. We are the most powerful nation in the world. And we're negotiating not for a win-lose or a lose-win, which is the way it's been, the unfair tariffs, we're looking for a win-win. And so already 70 nations, Japan, Korea, a part of those, have already contacted our nation, the White House, to renegotiate the trade agreements between our nation and their nation, and good things eventually are gonna be moving towards our favor so that we continue to build in America, buy in America, and America comes first. But as we're blessed, the rest of the world will also be blessed.